Okay, so this video is just going to go over basically how to set up the website template. You will want to use the GitHub. It's going to have a README that kind of walks through it, but this video is also going to be really helpful. I also have that Google Doc as well that's going to walk through it. That's uploaded in Discord. But to get started, you will want an open file in VS Code, an empty folder. Right click and go to Open Terminal. That first command right there is going to be what you're going to need. Actually, we're not allowed to have any capitals in the name, so let me test that real quick. That way y'all can just copy and paste it. One thing to keep in mind is that to start your server and to close the server, you will be using the terminal to do all that. You will, of course, be writing the code in VS Code, but you need to use the terminal to get it set up and then close it down. But yeah, let's just copy that. And then we'll just paste that in there right there. And then this last thing, I do want to mention that this is a name. You can name it whatever you want. It's basically just going to be the directory that you'll be working in. With this next initialization, I do have it listed on here. You will want to follow that specifically because our code won't be able to work with each other if you don't follow that specifically. But yeah, once we get that set up, you'll see that it's going to create a new folder. It'll start creating all the dependencies and stuff. I tried to upload all that to GitHub, but I believe you just cannot upload that stuff to GitHub because you have to initialize it onto your device first. But what we'll do next is we're going to download the zip files that has the code that we'll be using, or the template at least. So for this one, you can just keep it wherever. I'm just going to put it in temp 2 because I've been through this maybe 2 times for this video. But I'm going to go and open this up. I'll delete the old one real quick. But yeah, let me open that up. And with this, we should be able to just go ahead and drag it in. First thing we want to do is we want to drag in the logo because that's our logo and we're going to be using for the header and maybe some other spots, but for sure the header. Next, you want to save all your stuff in the source/app area. And so with this, we'll just go ahead and just drag it in and drop in. Be sure you put it in the app area. And then we'll see every folder is going to have a page.js, but we need to keep it in folders so that we know which page it is. And yeah, I'm going to drag these last ones. And then with this, we should be able to just drag these 3 in. Otherwise, we'll have to like copy and paste it, but it should work just fine doing this, and then we'll just replace it. I'm just going to click replace. All right. I'll make sure I save it. And then next, to start up your server, just be sure you're in the right directory. So you might have to do ls and then cd into the directory and then run npm run dev. And to actually see the server that's actually running, you go to localhost 3000. There's a link inside the terminal, there's a link inside the GitHub and in the Google Doc, or you can just type it in, and we can see here that our server is up and running, or our web page is up and running. So I've toured these buttons up here at the top. We're going to tap through each page itself. And then with this, you can actually see in here that this starter page is going to be this one right here. It's not in a folder. That is our home page outside of the folder compartments. But yeah, and then this page right here is going to be useful for just from like starter tips on the potential stuff you can do. With it, it's pretty, like, you can add whatever to it to an extent. I'm not sure what everyone's going to be trying to do, so I just listed like how to import the links, how to import images. I wrote some comments on top of that as well. I did show how to do a local CSS file because we don't want to modify the global ones too much. But with this, you can see that you're creating like class names that you can attach to text, items, pretty much any type of, I guess you would call it like a tag. So like the tags are right there. And then here you can see the class name. So .container, and we saw that in the local CSS file right here. With this is our component file, and this is going to be our body, header, and footer. One thing with this is that we will use at the top of every page, just because we want to kind of standardize that for the most part. Maybe not body, but we'll see. For sure the header and footer we do need to be standard. This is our global CSS file. Try not to mess with this too much. Unless you just have like a great idea, like if there's a certain color that we know we'll all be using, then sure. And then here I'll show you just a quick like how to the basics of creating a tag. Like this is just a paragraph tag, and you just say something like this is a paragraph, and then you can also nest the tags, which just means you put a tag inside of another tag. This could be helpful if you want to attach certain CSS like decorations, class names, anything like that to it. So we're going to save that, go to our homepage, and we can see that these two lines are now added. Besides that, that does kind of cover most of what you'll be doing, or I guess what you'll be starting out with. I do want to note, of course, every page is going to have that page.js, and feel free to add a local CSS file. Just be sure to name it either like the container name .module.cs, or even just name it, maybe even just local.module.css. The .module.css you do have to add since it's not a global. I'm not exactly sure why, but sometimes when I would try without the module, it just would not work. So, but with this, I do have more links here at the bottom of this PDF, and this PDF is shared on Discord. I just have it pulled up because, yeah. I do have some extra little bits to learn, and then down here we also do have some more information. Of course, you can just go to next.js documentation, of course, and then yeah, we can see some stuff right here. Along with that, you could just search up specific stuff you want to do, like if you want to animate something in Next.js, like like how to move a picture or something. Just use that. You can also just use AI to help you learn. I wouldn't say to let it like control everything, but it'd be good to just maybe help bug fix some issues or help get you in the right step. One thing I do want to note is that when you do actually go to upload your code, do not push to the main. What you want to do is you want to create a new branch. And so with that, you can do something like maybe your first initials, maybe an underscore, and then the actual page you worked on. And then in that, so like DG and then calendar. And what you'll be uploading to the GitHub is specifically the folder that you worked on. And if you did add any images to the global, then you can add it there. But preferably try to keep everything in the same folder. But if you do, just be sure to mention like, oh, I added this image into the public folder, or I actually created something else in components and I added it there. Just be sure to note that when you do it. I will mention when you're adding links, please add this. It's just an extra little bit of security. That'll basically prevent whatever website you link from getting our link tag or from like affecting it in any way. It's just like a standard security thing that we should be adding if we're doing external links. All right, and then one last thing is that once you actually close out of your project and come back to work in it, what you can do is just open the folder right back up. You'll see all your stuff is there, of course, and then just right click inside of the empty space in your terminal, and you should be able to just straight up run npm run dev again, and it'll work just fine. Just make sure you're in the right directory, of course. And we'll see that it boots up fine. So we can go to localhost again. I'll bring this to the side real quick, and you'll see that actually updates live. So let's say I click onto another page, it'll update inside the terminal showing that it's changing. And then if you ever do want to close out of the web page, just Control C and it'll close. And then let's see if we click this, and it's no longer up.